Hi there, everybody. Welcome to Build Series. I'm Lee Blickley of HuffPost, and today I'm very excited to be joined by the stars of ABC's new comedy series, Splitting Up Together. We have Jenna Fischer and Oliver Hudson, who's coming in the house. Everybody's excited? Now, in this new show, they play a couple, Lena and Martin, who decide divorce is best, but then they also decide to continue living together for the sake of their children. And of course, things get a bit tricky and messy. Let's take a look at the clip.
I love me. I was just gonna go for a quick run.
I was just gonna do the laundry, vacuum, plunge the upstairs toilet, call a guy about the broken sprinkler, go to work, come home, and make dinner.
Cool. What's for dinner?
Long story short, we had a good run, but we're pulling the plug. But we're gonna continue living together.
That's hilarious.
I had an epiphany last week. That squirrel is the only man who has seen me naked in 2 years. I want to be with someone who wants to tear my clothes off.
Are you the type of person who would let someone tear their clothes off?
Well, obviously not my high-end pieces.
Seeing her the other night, excited to go out with some other dude, it just got me shook.
You're so vulnerable right now. Let's hug.
But I love me.
You two are terrible role models.
Everybody, welcome Jenna Fischer and Oliver Hudson. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
Now, I have to say, you have great chemistry because backstage, you guys really treat each other like husband and wife a little bit back there.
Mm-hmm.
We do.
That's right, I'm the wife.
So talk to me, though, about hearing about the show and getting cast and what you thought. What were your initial thoughts about the show?
I begged to get cast. She's a star, so she already had the part. I had to audition for the part, and I went in and met Emily and Dean, and I read for the role, and I finished, and usually at an audition, you sort of just walk out, and that's it, and you hope. And I said, okay, you guys, look, I have 3 kids. This is my life. I need to have this job. Please give me this job. So I was literally groveling and begging to get cast in this role, and I guess it worked.
No, and then they brought you in to like chemistry read with me, and we were so chatting with each other that they had to, remember they were like, you guys, seriously, we need to read the scene, please, read the scene, because we wouldn't stop talking.
So you automatically had that rapport right down.
I think so.
We did. Yeah. Never had that before, honestly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what was it about the show and the concept of the show that drew you in? Because it is a perfect comedy, but it has a little twist to the fact that you guys are getting a divorce, but you're still living together. It's kind of like consciously uncoupling.
That's right.
It is. Well, for me, I really like to draw on parts of my real self when I do a role. That's my favorite thing. And so, like, when I was cast as Pam on The Office, I had literally been a receptionist for 7 years with weird bosses and sitting and answering phones, wishing something cool would happen in my life. So I was able to just kind of bring that right into the role. And so now, it's 5 years since we filmed the last episode of The Office. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. And in that time, I met the love of my life, and we have 2 kids, and I feel like I get to take that now mom-wife part of me and put it into this character. So that was what kind of drew me to it.
Yeah, similar. I mean, I've always, I played in Nashville as a bad guy, and I'd never played a father, a dad. I mean, this is something that I have 3 kids myself. I immediately read it and completely related to it. Not the divorce aspect, but just being in a relationship and compromising and having 2 different styles of parenting and having to sort of deal with that and the acceptance of those different styles. And I knew I could fit into this role perfectly because I lived it. I live it. I mean, to the point where I go to set and work with the kids, and I come home and I deal with my kids. It's a 24-hour, except when I'm sleeping, cycle of just parenting and being a dad, you know.
Should we talk about bird nesting?
Yeah.
So bird nesting is a real phenomenon now of divorced couples, which is where you keep the family home and the children live in it all the time, and the parents cycle in and out each week. So rather than making your kids pack a bag and go from house to house, the parents have to do it. And that's the concept of our show, which is complicated because even though you're divorced, in addition to being parents still, you also have to manage the home still. And so you get to see us figure out, like, when it's dad week, I come in the house on my first mom day and I'm like, wait a second, why did you do no laundry? Why is the refrigerator empty? You know, which is sort of things you might say if you weren't divorced.
Sure, but now it's none of your concern because it's my week. That's sort of how it
And
goes.
that's how you do it.
When you leave.
All right.
But what do you think of the concept of bird nesting? Like, would you ever try that if it were to happen? in
I'm a
your life?
product of divorce.
Yeah.
That would have been an amazing situation. Now, it might work for some and not for others. I think bird nesting probably works best when it's an amicable divorce or there is some harmony, you know. But I think that's an amazing concept. Why disrupt the kids who are the fragile ones, really, in this scenario? And why not the parents leave? I think it's a great concept.
It is funny, though, watching the show because the parent who's on, like if it's mom week, and then, Jenna's character, Lena, goes off and lives in the garage, you have no responsibility in the house with the kids for a whole week. That would feel so weird to me, is not being with your kids for a week, but also not doing, like, laundry or cooking or having your own kitchen to kind of go into.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it'd be weird. I couldn't imagine it. And I think that is something that Lena struggles with in the show because
Right.
when it's not her week, she wants to still kind of like do stuff. She wants to insert herself in. I mean, I don't know how that's her struggle on the show, is trying to give Martin the space to be in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And then what is it like to shoot the show using your own do you bring your own parenting styles into your characters, or did you kind of create your character separate from what you would do as a parent?
I mean, it's kind of written the way it's written.
Yeah. But I will say, though, that it is, it's as if Emily sort of had stepped into my house and witnessed me parent, because it's exactly how sort of Martin does things, for the most part. Very spontaneous, nothing is planned, we'll figure it out type of an attitude,
Yeah, I'm very helicoptery and controlling. I think these are positive traits. I think these are positive things about my mothering. Like my character.
Mm-hmm.
And your character is like wrestling with your boys. So you have two sons and a daughter on the show.
Yeah.
And your daughter is kind of experimenting with her newfound feminism
Yep.
and what it means to be a woman in a house kind of full of brothers and men. So whenever it's a dad week, I find it very interesting how you deal with your daughter compared to your sons. Talk about that, how you got into character for those kind of scenes.
Well, I grew up with very strong women, my mother and my sister, for sure. And I think it's probably something that men are going to be dealing with a lot more lately, with their young daughters coming up and, finding their femininity and becoming feminists earlier on, which is a great thing. And dads are going to have to learn how to sort of deal with it. And Martin, tries to relate and tried to relate. And it, of course, backfired on him. But the fact that he's making an effort, that's pretty good. At least he's trying. For me, personally, I think men can be feminists. You know what I mean? Like, they can be. They can be masculine and be feminists at the same time. I grew up, again, with very strong women, so I've always had, that's been my archetype,
For anyone who doesn't know, his mom is Goldie Hawn and his sister is Kate Hudson, which had to be a really cool life and upbringing. What was that? Because do you have similar upbringings? I'm sure you
We're
didn't
like
grow up.
exactly the same.
Yeah, very similar.
I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri. My mom is Ann Fisher. And my dad is Jim Fisher.
I love Ann and Jim Fisher.
I didn't know your dad's name was Jim.
Jim.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very telling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My brother-in-law's name is Dwight.
Is it really? And there's...
And my niece's name is Cece.
Really?
We named Cece on The Office after my niece.
Is there no one in your family named Oliver?
There is no one in my family named Oliver.
Well.
It's okay. There's still a shot. Maybe there's more babies.
Oh.
Yeah.
If my sister has another kid, I'll have her name him Oliver.
Good. Thank you. I needed that.
But But then, of course, you didn't grow up in Missouri. You grew up in Hollywood, basically.
Yeah.
What was that upbringing like for you? Did you kind of grow up on sets? I'm assuming.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I mean, look, from the outside perspective, you would probably look at someone like me and have an idea, a preconceived idea of who I am and how I might act, you know. My parents were very conscious of that. And although we did have nice things and we took nice vacations, within our four walls, it was a very normal upbringing, you know, as normal as it could be. We were not given everything. Being spoiled was like a sin, pretty much. And, you know, they did the best that they could with trying to bring us up as normal as possible. And I think it worked out. I'm all right.
Oliver's great.
I'm all right.
Like, you're less, like, spoiled than...
You?
Maybe. No.
No way.
You're less spoiled than, like, a lot of actors that I've worked with who
Right.
didn't grow up in Hollywood.
Like John Krasinski.
Exactly. I didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
You said it.
Is this your goal now? Is to like become the new
Well,
John or the new Jim?
I have gotten so much crap on social media just about
It's
getting
horrible.
a job. I basically just got a job I liked, and I guess this job working with her comes with, you know, just getting hammered over the head. You know, like, I hate you, you son of a bitch. Like, how dare you? I'm like, dude, I'm just supporting my family right now. That's all I'm trying to do. So I've rolled with it. I think it's funny. I love the fact that people are sort of so passionate about the Jim and Pam thing. And, you know, if I see any adversity, you know, I pretty much lean into it. So that's what I'm doing.
He's going to be the new Jim.
The new Jim.
Martin is the new Jim.
Martin is the new
I
Jim.
feel for you, Jenna, though, to see that like people are like, oh, you can't be with another man. You have to be with John Krasinski. And every show you do from now on.
For my whole life, I will never be accepted. I think to me, it's just really flattering the impact that The Office and that relationship have had on people. Like it doesn't bother me at all, and
It was amazing.
it was
cried.
a special thing.
I did.
A special
I never
thing.
told you that, actually.
You cried? When?
I don't know.
Which
I don't know
time?
what season, but there was the time you guys were outside in the parking lot.
Season 2.
Yeah, season 2, and he said
Casino night.
right, and he got teary, and you know I thought that was amazing. I actually teared up myself.
True Office
Right.
fan.
See?
Love it. But now people get to watch. Hopefully, the Office people, like you said, you wanted them to hate watch the
Just
show.
hate watch it. Just hate
love it.
watch it, and then we will win you over, I'm sure.
They'll love it. The show is really great, and like I said before, you guys have great chemistry that I think people are really they're gonna bond with you two as well.
I hope so.
I hope so.
But let's talk about your characters because it's not like this divorce is tricky because I feel like there's still some feelings there. Are we going to kind of see that play out through the show? Because you might think that Martin is maybe seeing other women, so then you start dating, but you're still really pining
Other way
after her.
around. She sees like a bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
This is not true. It's not a bunch. It's 2.
2 within 3 episodes. So that's a lot.
Correct.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys.
I am a hot lady.
I know.
Okay. What am I supposed to do? Not take what life is bringing to me?
It's good. That's fine.
Gorgeous
The
men
men.
want to date me. What am I going to do? What would you do?
Well, I'd do what you did.
See?
Okay.
No, I think that because the divorce, Lena and Martin's divorce, it's not based on any one big fight or one big issue or infidelity. We were talking about this, and I think it's the result of many tiny unresolved resentments that have built up. So there's a lot of things that have to be healed in order for them to get back together. But ultimately, I know I would like that. Lena would like Martin to see her. And you have a girl who comes to give you dance lessons.
Right.
And she's so sexy and gorgeous and has a big crush on you. And you don't see her crush on you.
Because I'm
Because
thinking
you're
about you.
kind of yes, but also I think it points to the ways that you missed some of Lena's signals too. I think your character like misses things
So I'm just-
sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Going for runs.
All
He's
right.
not,
He's
you
just
know.
going for run. Do you know what I mean?
So
it's
I'm
like
just a complete dummy.
not dummy. I think
I'm an
just
emotional
like,
dummy. A little bit.
do you think Martin is an emotional dummy?
No, no. I mean, I think with this dance teacher, I think it's more of the fact that I have something in mind. I know what I am doing. I know what I'm trying to do. So her eyes for me are just, I have blinders on because I'm trying to impress you.
He has a very
right,
sexy
too.
dance with the dance teacher.
I do.
I haven't seen the
Very
dance yet,
sexy
but
dance.
I saw the dance teacher. She's actually from One Tree Hill, which I used to love that
Is she?
show. Yeah. Of course, I notice small things like that. But let's talk about, being a part of a show where you are playing parents, so you have to work a lot with kid actors. And then you mentioned that you're going home to your own families. So what's that balance like, going from set, being a parent to these 3 kids, and then going home and having to kind of do it all over again?
Fine.
Yeah. Well, usually.
You did more stuff with the kids than I did because I was off dating the hot guys a little bit
Yes.
on the show.
Oh, not in real life.
Not
Are we-
real life. I'm married.
married.
And,
No, but are we talking about real life, going back to the kids in our
well,
real
talking
life?
about like what's it like to work all day with the kids and then I guess go back.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, it was fine. And I think
Yeah.
you sort of have a few more scenes with the kids.
I do. And both of the kids, all the kids are great. The 2 older ones are amazing, and little Sander's amazing. But he's a kid. I mean, he's 7, so there's a wrangling process that goes on, and I have sort of assumed to be his on-set real dad. So I'm constantly saying, "Hey, Sander, get back here, buddy. Come on, it's time to go." And he's like, "Can I shoot the Nerf gun?" I'm like, "Not now. Let's finish this scene." "Well, afterwards, can I kill you with this?" I'm like, "Sure, whatever. Let's go. Come on." So it's a lot of that.
Yeah, is it difficult working with kid actors sometimes?
No.
No, it was great.
Not in
it
this
was easy.
case.
Yeah, not in this
No.
case. Yeah.
Seem like great kids.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So what about your character, Martin? Because I'm seeing already a bit of growth in him. He would go for runs. He wouldn't do laundry. He wasn't really a cook. Now he takes up cooking. Are you happy with the way you're seeing your character kind of progress, even in the first few episodes?
Yeah. I mean, look, it's just about effort. It's about realizations. It's about growing. And sometimes it takes 2 people to be apart, for them to sort of discover things about themselves. Once Lena leaves, he's on his own. And he probably recognizes all of the things that she did for him and his family that now he has to accomplish on his own. And it's not an easy feat. So I think he's understanding that and then making an attempt to become a better ex-husband, father, and person, So I think there's definite growth there for sure.
What about your character, Lena? How do you see her? She was always on everything, had a schedule, and now she's kind of exploring a different side of herself, which is, like you said, going on dates. And are you happy with the way your character is kind of playing out?
I am. I think she is being forced to let go. Like you said, like she spends a week every other week in the garage, and it just like forces her to pump the brakes a little bit. And, it's something that I learn, which is that everyone won't die if you let go of the control for 10 minutes. Like everyone's going to be okay, but I don't know. It's weird. So I think that like she's learning to kind of ease up in a nice way for herself.
And before I toss it to these lovely people, we're kind of in this like golden age of television. I mean, The Office was pretty golden too a few years ago. But what does it mean to book a show like this and get the chance to have an opportunity to be on people's television screens and for them to see your story? And
I just feel lucky. I mean, it's tough. I mean, I've been successful and grateful for, having a career. But every year, if you don't have a job, it's a grind, especially in television now because people are migrating. The big stars from movies have been migrating to television. So now, there's less opportunity in television for the younger or newer actors. I'm not in that class of the newer actor, but still, you have to fight for your jobs. And I was lucky enough to get a job that I loved. This is one of the pilots that I circled and really wanted to do. So, anytime you're working, you're grateful. I mean, that's just how it is because it's a tough ass business. And it might not seem like that from the outside because it seems like, oh, we're all on TV and it's all, you know, flowers and rainbows. But, you know, when you have 3 kids to support and a family and, you know, you gotta work. And a lot of times you're doing stuff that you don't even want to do, but you have to. And I'm so lucky with this because I truly love this show. I mean, I really, really do.
Yeah, I think that I would agree with that. I think the thing that feels the best about this show is that it's something I'm really proud of, and it's true because sometimes you take work just to have work, and so it does. I feel really lucky to have been a part of a project that feels meaningful. It feels like we're saying something a little bit too, like it's a funny, fun ABC family comedy, but it's not empty calories.
Right.
Like,
We're exposing.
there's more there.
We're exposing something I think that's been, you know, in our culture for probably a long ass time, but we never really have talked about it. And now we're sort of opening it up and exposing what a lot of people probably do. And I can only say that because just within the last few months, when you tell someone the log line of the show or explain what you've been doing, 9 times out of 10, either that person has been in a situation or they know somebody who has. Oh, everyone says, well, that's pretty relevant. I'm like, yeah, I mean, this is happening now, you know?
There's that automatic interest. And I have already watched many episodes. I'm like hooked. So you
Okay.
guys, you're going to be hooked. I do want to open it up to some questions from the audience.
Hello. I wanted to know, do you guys see any similarities between yourselves and your characters?
I do.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, for
Pretty
sure.
similar.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do a lot to get into character. It just feels if my character of Lena feels like an amplified version of myself.
Mine's not really amplified. Mine's pretty much the same. Yeah, I mean, and my wife is like Jenna, where she needs to plan, and she takes 80 bags out to go to lunch because in case of like a tornado or something.
It's good planning.
Yeah, I don't like to plan. You know, I like to leave the house when the kids were young with like a diaper in my back pocket, where she has 8 diaper bags. So I'm very similar, actually.
Hi, I was wondering how you guys, or what draws you to the roles that you take, and through that experience, would you have advice for younger actors?
I wrote a book for younger actors. It's called The Actor's Life, a survival guide. And it is truly all of my advice for young actors. Are you an actor?
No, but I'm a writer.
You're a writer. It would apply. It would apply. It's for artists. I mean, gosh, when I was younger and I didn't have kids, my criteria for picking a role was like, oh, what seems like the most fun thing? You live in Costa Rica for 4 months and shoot a movie for $4? Yeah, let's sign me up. But now the first thing is, you know, is this close to home? Like, can I don't want to relocate my family or myself to take a job. And, you know, does it pay well? Can I support my family taking this job? And then the third thing is, how's the part? You know, do I feel like I have something to offer the role? Do I feel like the role needs me?
Love it. I mean, that's pretty much the same. I mean, you know, you take a job because sometimes you have to. You know, you got to make money. And then sometimes you take a job because you love it and there is no money. And that's just the way it is. You want to get to a point where you don't have to do those things. You can make decisions based on your creativity, and that's it. Waiting for that moment. Advice to actors is just keep going. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of it's luck. You have to work hard to get lucky, but a lot of it is luck. I know amazing actors who don't have agents. You know what I mean? Amazing actors who just do not have representation and probably never will. It takes a stroke of luck. It just does.
We have time for one more.
Hey guys, so I was wondering, with this show being developed by a woman, what was it like having a female in charge of a show like this, especially now in an industry where we have more female directors and writers? Like, what do you?
Yeah, Emily Kapnick is awesome. And it was a really, really cool experience working with her. And Helen Hunt directed one of our episodes, and that was really special.
Yeah, the fourth one.
Yeah, and it was really neat getting to work with her. And Ellen DeGeneres is one of our executive producers.
Right. There's no men on the show. I'm the only male.
You're the only man.
I Love that. Are you guys seeing a shift kind of in the industry now to give more women those opportunities to be directors or writers or showrunners, more so than maybe when you first started your careers?
You know what I'm noticing? I'm noticing that, so a lot of times when shows are looking for directors or maybe a new camera operator or cinematographer, they have a lot of spaces that get filled with just veterans who have been in the business forever. And most of those veterans are white guys.
Right.
But now if they have a spot that's like an opportunity where they're going to take a risk on someone new, those opportunities do seem to be going more often to women and people of color.
Yeah.
So, which I think is great.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think I do see a shift there.
Well, this show is awesome, guys. It premieres on Tuesday at 9:30 on ABC. Congratulations. I can't wait for people to see it. I really enjoyed it. So that's all that matters, right?
That's all that matters.
Thanks
That's
for
all
your
that matters.
support,
Thank you,
everybody.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.